this looks kind of weird. The bush is all cut. But good thing they left it that high. What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am using the GoPro literally just on my hand right now without the tripod because I lent it to my nephew to do his dancing at the temple today. And today we're going to be working on the giveaway CRX. I did a lot of recording in between the last week or so. Been putting in a lot of work on the car that I didn't like really talk about. I just went to work, kind of showed you guys everything. I'm not sure if the video is going to drop before or after this one, but today I am recording something I want to share with you guys. That's why we are here today. So I showed you guys the list just now, right? We did injectors, dump tube, downpipe, T-bolt clamp, catch cans and lines, coolant fill neck weld on. We need trans fluid. I need to buy an axle, install radiator. I need to do coolant because radiator hose clamps are not on. New ground cable. These are the majority of the things underneath the hood that I wanted to get done and out of the way. And in order to turn the car on, I need to do the fuel cell. So the fuel cell is what we're going to be working with today, and we're going to do this a little bit different. Now, if you guys remember, my all-wheel drive CRX, my red one, has a fuel cell in the back with an inline fuel pump and filter, -8 front, -6 back. We're going to be doing a fuel cell in this car as well, a 10-gallon fuel cell. That car has 15. We're going to do a 10-gallon fuel cell here, and I went to B&R Fittings the other night to grab the rest of the things that I need to do the job. I'm going to go ahead and just grab all the stuff out real quick, lay it all out, and then we'll talk about the modifications we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to do some unboxing here real quick. I don't have my tripod, so hopefully it's a good angle. You guys are taped on my Canon G7X right now. I've ran the 15-gallon fuel cell in my all-wheel drive CRX for 4 years now, and I've only had one issue last year where my fuel tank was too pressurized with a small breather hose, and I ended up cracking the weld on the tank. But I drained it, I welded it, and it's still functioning in the car perfectly fine. So again, I went with an eBay unit. They're about $120. It depends on what size you're going for. There's like 5, 10-gallon, 15-gallon, 20-gallon cells. I got a 15-gallon in my car because I drive it far. 10-gallon is kind of close to what the stock fuel tank is, so I decided I'm just going to keep it at 10 with the giveaway car. So got a silver one just so that there's no coating on it, and by the looks of it, it seems to be raw aluminum, and the welds look so much better than the other one as far as I can see. And what I also am noticing is, let me pull it out. By the looks of this tank, completely different than the one that it's in my car. You can still see the cleaning action on here, which you get from welding aluminum, and it doesn't seem like it got clear coated or anything like that. I didn't expect this to be a raw aluminum, so that's freaking awesome. And the cool thing I'm noticing here as well too is this actually has bends in it. You can see how this is bent, where my other one, each side was a separate piece. So this is good, this is nice. So what I also did notice is that the -10 that's on the top is welded on the inside because there's no weld on the outside, unlike my other tank, which is freaking awesome. So obviously fuel cell goes in the trunk, you fill it here, sending unit to an aftermarket gauge, or if you get the one that's correct for your cluster, you can wire it to your cluster. But what I'm doing differently with this fuel cell is I'm not running an inline fuel pump and filter system. What I'm going to be doing with this is I'm going to try to build a custom slot to run a hanger system inside, so we can run a regular fuel pump, and in this case we're running a Walbro 450 for simplicity's sake. I mean, as far as running like lines and stuff goes, we're not running external filters, fuel pump, a huge, like, we're not running 10 feet of feed and return system. Instead, what I'm going to be doing with this fuel cell is we're going to be modifying this back half to run the hanger, and we're going to try to get the pump to put the filter right on the sump, which is the lowest part of the tank. And we're probably still going to be filling from here, but I also want to make like a neck out of aluminum with a cap instead of the plastic, so it doesn't deteriorate over time like the issue I had. So the goal here, guys, is to somehow get this mounted here on the fuel cell, in tank, fuel pump, and then we're going to be running a few miscellaneous fittings. We're going to be using PTFE everything because I am going to run ethanol. The full-blown hanger uses a -8 and 6 return. I am going to be switching the 8 out for a 6, and then the 6 is going to be a 3/8 hose return system, so it's going to be large and small. But we're going to be doing simple line setup this time around. We're not going to be running 10 feet. We're going to be running pretty much the fittings off the hanger, right, -6. We're going to go PTFE -6 hose from the hanger underneath the car to a 5/16 tube adapter, which then is going to connect to the hard line. We're not going to be running 10 feet. We're going to be utilizing the stock hard line. So PTFE hard line goes into the engine bay, fuel rail, returns the system through the hard line, and then it's going to go through a 3/16 hose back to the hanger, return the fuel back into the tank. So anyways, hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I'm gonna get right to it and I'm gonna show you guys the process of how I'm gonna go about it. Let's get to it. So I have the stock fuel tank out of the car, and it's got like half tank, I would want to say. When I was taking out the fuel filter in the engine bay, this thing had green gas, green fluids, and I wouldn't doubt it though, because the car sat for 15 years. So I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go underneath the car and convert the lines to AN, so we can get it ready for when this goes in the car. We can just route the lines with ease. We have the feed on the left and the return on the right. All right, well, we got both the lines converted over to -6. This is the feed, the longer one. The shorter one is the return. We're not going to worry about the breather because it's not connected to anything in the front. I am going to kind of bend this a little upward. Same goes for the feed. Bend that up and out of the way. All right, so pretty much from here, we're just gonna have straight fitting that's going to go to the tank, which is gonna go through the hole somewhere here when I cut it out for the diff and return system. So that's that. That's that. So I just cleaned up all my stuff right now because I went into the van and I found my aluminum plate that I dropped off the Kel. I bought 2 of these. Kel had 1 of it, and he made me a different plate for my other CRX, and I just found this in the car. And I'm like, you know what, man? I know Kel's super busy as well. It is Easter Sunday, and he's out with the family right now, and I want to steady making progress. So I just came out of O'Reilly's, and I got some gasket maker, Caro Pack, tan fiber sheets. This one's pretty thick, 1/16 for sealing oil, coolant, and gasoline. I got some battery for my voltmeter because I need to do the resistor wire for the injector, 30 amp relay for the fuel pump, and Harbor Freight's right there. They closed, and I can't get my bandsaw blade. So hopefully Home Depot has something similar. I should have known. Home Depot is closed too, so no hole saws. Well guys, we are headed to KELLYNBUILT headquarters to make this plate. All right guys, so we're out here at KELLYNBUILT Fabrication once again, and I brought my whole entire like fuel cell, pump, hanger, the plate and everything. So originally we were gonna have Kel make me this plate, but what had happened was Kel didn't have a material that's wide enough, right? This is the only plate he had, and it turns out that the whole end-to-end is wider than the plate. So we had a couple of different choices that we're going to do, which was to weld these holes shut and then grind them flat, make the plate, and throw it on here, right? But then I was like, I was a little embarrassed. I was like, well, I have my own plate that I made. You want to see it? You know, granted all the jagged edges and all that. And I presented that to him and he was like, yo, this will work. So what Kel just did right now, he took my plate, threw it on his giant table sander, belt sander. I need to get me one of those, and clean up all of the edges. And I asked Kel if he could kindly just weld it for me, because I want his welds to complement the nice welds that's on the tank right here. I didn't want to do all my blotchy welding. So right now we're drilling the center hole, which is for this right here. We're going to be putting a 2-inch tube, just kind of visual right here, a 2-inch tube, and then we're going to have a fill neck with the fill cap for the fuel. So once we drill that out, prep the metal, and we still got to drill out the tank for this sucker. Do you have a bigger hole saw to the size of that?
This one?
Because we still got because we still got to cut that, right?
Oh yeah. Should be 3-inch.
It's 83 mil. 83 millimeter. Oh, you got a whole gang, boy. That's what I need. I'll be playing. I mean, you can go a little bit bigger. It's not a big deal. Record, that's gonna be welded on anyways. We have to drill the hole in the tank, and then Kel's gonna weld this whole entire thing for me. So finally we can get Kel to weld something for the giveaway car, because everything has been fabricated from him, and then I welded everything. So yeah, we're gonna come up with all of this game plan real quick, and then we'll get to the good part. I'm pretty sure I drilled it with the right size bit, because only the tip fits. Go back.
We live, baby.
We live, baby. Yeah, that thing clean, boy. Now we got like 6 more to go. God dang it. Is that it? That's the end of it?
That's it.
Man.
That shit was tiring, bro.
Man, that would have been like an hour for me, to be honest with you, bro. All right, guys, so we are out here the next day, and I'm actually out here pretty late in the evening because I took off to the store to go grab some slicks to let my friend Chris borrow so he can get his car on the track at Race Wars. I went to go scavenge for a bearing for the outer case for another friend of mine. I found it, and it was actually... it was pretty bad. It was missing all the bearings. And then I went to go do my taxes, and while we were sitting there doing, you know, the computer work, the whole freaking entire street had a power shortage. So they weren't able to complete my taxes today, and I had to file for an extension. Got home, and then I freaking passed out, and now we're back here in the garage. So I've been working on the fuel cell a little bit here just to further make progress because of all the noise and stuff in the background. They literally just painted this house the same color as my freaking car, which is freaking awesome, right? But anyways, I've been putting in some work on the fuel cell, but before I talk about it, want to give a big shout out to my buddy KELLYNBUILT out here in the Bay Area. He came in clutch with welding this tank for me. Now, I was watching his welding machine, and he was burning at 130, 140-ish, and I am on a 110 here, so I would have struggled most definitely trying to weld this very thick plate onto the fuel cell. So big shout out to Kel for providing pretty much the fill neck, brand spanking new, the neck itself, which is a 2.5 piping, and then I had this plate that I cut out, but he helped clean it up for me so we can get it to weld on here very cleanly. So before I install the fuel cell, obviously I'm going to clean out the inside of the tank because of all of the burr that came off of the hole that we cut out here. Now the hanger, the full-blown hanger, if you guys haven't seen this before, it normally mounts at an angle like this, right? And because this is for an EGDC, we're obviously using it for a fuel cell, so we don't need it in that configuration. And technically we could have used it in that configuration with the legs being at an angle and then the pump sitting like this. The problem is the filter is not slanted like the EF&DAs. The filter is actually straight, like perpendicular to the pump, so it needs to sit flat like this and not at an angle. I mean, it could sit at an angle, but then you'd be sucking air instead of fuel when you run low on gas. So I ended up clocking this leg to be straight up and down, and with me doing that, the holes obviously didn't line up, so I had to make a little tab, weld it onto that leg to secure it so it doesn't move, budge, twist, or turn while it's inside the tank. So this is pretty much ready to be installed, and right now I'm just kind of figuring out how I'm going to go about it. I did kind of figure out where the pump is going to sit on the hanger, which is going to be super duper low. But instead of using zip ties, I am using a worm clamp to ensure it's not going to move. So I'm gonna go ahead and just set you guys up on the camera real quick and show you guys what all I am doing instead of talking your freaking ears off. So I'm running one pump. That means I only need one inlet. Now I have to cover up the other one so we don't lose pressure and plug it up. So this plug right here came from my Block's VTEC conversion kit. Just had a bunch of extras. I don't know the thread pitch, but it is the right size I need for this hole. So I'm just going to go ahead and block that off. Give it a nice snug. Also make sure the other one is nice and tight on here, which is pretty loose. I already got the filter pressed on the fuel pump. It's not going to go anywhere. Got the worm clamp already on here. I am going to face this barb towards the barb on the pump hanger itself. This way. Go ahead and slide the pump through, and you can already see it's pretty stiff under, not going to go anywhere. I am going to trim this a little bit. Give it one more little turn. Nope, pretty firm. So now we got to connect our line from the pump to the barb. So this hose right here I got from B&R Fittings. He said this is made and rated for ethanol, made by Gates, 4219BF barricade fuel injection hose, 3/8 in diameter. So I'm going to be using a little bit of this. Hopefully I have enough to go underneath the car. You want to make sure there's no kinks. It is push lock style, but I am going to put a worm clamp on it still to ensure we're not going to pop off. Weather was great this morning, and we got some crazy overcast. Probably gonna cut off about 1.5 inches just so I can use this plug later down the road if I have to. Strip the wires back, probably, I don't know, I'll probably say 1/4 inch. I'm doing 1/4 inch. So I'm gonna take the little grommet, a little rubber grommet, I'm gonna slide it into the wire first on both of them, and go ahead and just slide the terminal onto one. You want to crimp the middle tabs first. I don't remember which one I'm using here. Once you crimp that middle tab, you slide the little rubber grommet over the back tabs, and then we're going to crimp that. So the wires are terminated. We're gonna slide it into the plug here, but make sure the red is red and black is black. So A is gonna be red, and then the other one is obviously the black. And then we use a little retaining clip thingamabob. It's locked, plugged, ready to rock and roll. So the last thing I have to do before putting this full-blown hanger onto the fuel cell is to make the gasket. So this is pretty straightforward. Yesterday I went to the parts store and grabbed this Caropac tan fiber sheet for sealing oil, coolant, and gasoline. I would probably prefer rubber, but I mean, if this is good for gasoline, I guess that's what we're gonna use. I mean, that was the only thing available that I could find here anyway. So pretty simple. We're going to be tracing out this, and then we're going to cut the inside because obviously it has to slide through all of that. So the hanger, we're looking at about a little under 5 inches. We're going to mark this out. I'm probably going to do a 5x5 here. So this thing smells freaking weird. So we got 5 on it. Mark 5 out this way. Little 5x5. So I need to put this on top of the hanger so we can mark out the full circle. We have this wire in the way, and I'm gonna have to guesstimate where it lands on here so I can cut a hole out, slide it through, make my mark. And we're gonna be cutting the center of this anyways to clear all of this. So let's measure. 1 5/8, 1 1/4, 5/8, and 1 1/4. Voila, perfect. Okay, so now all I'm gonna do is trace. And there it is. I'm just gonna cut all that out. So I got the gasket all cut out, all the holes cut out as well too. And right now I have the filter still bagged up because I'm just trying to visually show you guys this. I don't think I'm gonna get the fuel cell put into the car, only because I forgot that my metal supply shop has been closed and I can't get square tubing to make the bracket and stuff. So I have to go drive around and figure out where I can get metal from so I can get the materials I need to make it, to mount this into the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and just stick this in here for now to show you where the filter sits. I mean, for myself as well, in case I need to readjust it. The holes are tapped for, I believe it was like M6 by 10 for regular Honda 10 millimeters. So I'm gonna go ahead and just rotate this gasket where it needs to be, because I do have these offset screws. I think the bolts are the perfect size. So pretty secured on there, not moving. That's awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and just stick the light inside the fill neck, and I'm gonna show you guys right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but let me see. Can you guys see the filter right there? It's literally hovering over the sump. So it's not quite all the way down because we ran out of a leg on the hanger, but we got it really close to the sump. So that's gonna pick up the lowest point of the cell, and that is gonna work perfectly fine. I don't think there's gonna be anybody who's gonna drive this car to like EE unless you're just savage like that. I always keep my tank quarter-way filled. I check it every so often to make sure I'm not running low on fuel. Also, the thing about fuel cell is when you step on the brakes and the pump starts running dry, you know you're gonna be low on fuel here real soon. So yeah, the pump system is pretty much set up. I still have to clean the tank out and all that. Obviously I can't put it into the car because I don't have the bracketry. I really want to show you guys the feed and return system, but you guys understand the concept. The bottom hard lines, the 516 return and feed, is already converted over to a -6. So it's literally just a line from the top of the tank to underneath the car. I do want to apologize for not showing you guys how I'm going to go about mounting that into the car. I'm going to tell myself right now, Dana, remind yourself to put the little card on the top on how I made the bracketry for my red all-wheel drive car. I'm going to give you guys one more look of the cell, the mods, the fill neck, the hanger, the pump itself before we end this video out. I have so much to do, and we're like 4 days out from going to the show, and we still have a lot to knock off on the list. I'm gonna pick back up with you guys on the next big segment to the build, which is pretty much all of the all-wheel drive rear end stuff, all of the small miscellaneous interior paint and all that. I'm not gonna show you guys all of that because I need to utilize this time to really put in the work on this car. So this right here is pretty much in relations to today's video, so that's going to be all said and done. So I am going to wrap up the video right here, guys. Be sure to leave this video a thumbs up, and if you guys want to see this car get closer and closer to being completed, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.